Hi, this is Bob. Thanks for tuning in for my next video called Legitimizing Your Leadership. If you're going to be a leader, and if you're going to be an effective leader, you need to be a legitimate leader in the eyes of the people that follow you. It's really important. And you're going to do that 4 ways. 1 is you need to get your people involved. 2nd, you want to be consistent and predictable. 3rd, you need to be fair. And 4, you need to get the job done. So this is getting your people involved. You want to build up each team member with really high-class training and turn them into experts at every opportunity you can. And when you do that, they're going to want to take on more responsibility. And every time the people that follow you see you delegating more responsibility, it's going to legitimize your leadership. Okay, next. When you hand that responsibility over, there's going to be a lot of decision-making that goes along with it. When you do that, they gain a lot more job control. And when they gain more job control, they see you as sharing power. Every time the people that follow you see you sharing power, it legitimizes your leadership. You want to ask your people for ideas for improvement, and when they start talking, you want to start listening. And you want to start implementing their ideas for improvement at every opportunity. When the people that follow you see you implementing their ideas for improvement, it legitimizes your leadership. Next, you want to dialogue with the people that are following you. And the 2 most important ways you're going to do that is that when you're answering questions for them, you want to answer truthfully. Now, sometimes the truth might hurt. In other words, the messenger sometimes gets shot. But they'll always know that they can come to you for the truth. Second part of the dialogue needs to be that you want to take the time when making assignments, you're letting people know why they're doing something. When somebody knows why they're doing something, you're giving meaning to their work. So in the dialogue section, when you're giving people the truth and you're giving meaning to the work, it legitimizes your leadership. Next, you want to walk in every day and ask your people, what are the issues or problems that are getting in their way today that's preventing them from doing their job? What are the problems or roadblocks that need to be solved or removed? And when they tell you, go out there and change the working conditions to make their work more effective. They'll tell you what it is, but you need to ask and then do something about it. When the people that follow you see you improving working conditions and solving problems for them, it legitimizes your leadership. The second side note to that is that when you improve working conditions, productivity goes up. Not such a bad thing. It's a win-win. Second category is you want to be consistent and predictable. And one of the best ways to do that is that you want to consistently and predictably keep performance expectations understandable and achievable. When people have performance expectations that they understand clearly and are also achievable with some reasonable level of effort, they're able to control their destiny. As a leader, when you can keep those expectations understandable and achievable in the eyes of your followers, it legitimizes your leadership. Change management is another big category. Change is almost always difficult and always painful in a group. But here's a couple ways that you want to pay attention to change in a way that'll allow you to legitimize your leadership. I would also invite you to check out some of the other videos I have on change management. Number 1, before every change, you want to make sure that you give people the training and you want to make sure they're allowed to dialogue about the change before it's implemented. Very important. Now, there still will be some resistance to change, but as long as people receive the training and as long as they've been able to voice their concerns about the training, you can go forward with the implementation. Number 2, it's always important to give small doses of change more frequently than to give larger doses of change less frequently. When groups become very highly collaborative and you're giving small doses of change, the resistance to change will drop over time. Now, change can be painful, but if you're following those 2 rules of change management and making sure that they're getting the training and the dialogue before implementing, it's going to legitimize your leadership. Makes sense, right? Now the next one's pretty big. When your behavior in general and your reaction to issues on a day-to-day basis remain consistent and predictable, the people that you lead will be able to build a reliable relationship around you based on your guidelines. Let me go over that again. When they know how you're going to predictably and consistently respond to the day-to-day issues, it's going to give them enough information so they can build a relationship with you using your guidelines. When the people that you lead know how to build a relationship with you that's reliable and safe, it legitimizes your leadership. Next, number 3, let's be fair. Examples of good performance always get recognized regardless of who it is in the group. 2, examples of poor performance always get recovery training, and more recovery training, and more recovery training. That's 3 trainings, regardless of who it is in the group. Number 3, destructive behavior is always dealt with immediately and privately, regardless of who it is in the group. Last, a legitimate leader always focuses on behavior, not personalities, regardless of who it is. When the people that follow you know that performance standards and behavioral standards are going to be applied equitably throughout the group, it legitimizes your leadership. Okay, let's talk about getting the job done. Now I want you to think about the best leader you ever worked for. It might be somebody now, or it might be somebody many, many years ago. It was a leader that broke the mold. It was the leader that you worked for, and every leader you worked for before them or since then was always second rate. And I want you to think about how they got the job done. So let's talk about how they got the job done. Because in your eyes, they were a pretty fantastic leader, right? Well, when you give people great training and you delegate that responsibility and you share power, when you implement their ideas for improvement, when you tell the truth and give them meaning to their work, when you help people solve problems and improve their working conditions, when you give people understandable and achievable performance expectations, when you give people warning and training before change, when you help people build a reliable relationship with you, and when your performance and behavioral standards are applied equitably throughout the group, you will have legitimized your leadership. That's how they got the job done, and that's how you'll get the job done, right? Thanks for watching.